America, or wherever you're watching this on the internet. My name is Ms. Diamond Wigfall, and we are here for another very special episode of YAS Talk, which is a podcast where we talk to queer people about their queer experiences, and we just like kiki and have a good time and just have a good gay old time.
Ooh.
Yes. My very special guest here today, I want to say all of your names.
Say all of them.
Sister, brother, Freddie, and Willing.
Ooh,
yes.
nice.
Thank you for coming here on the pod.
You're welcome. It's delightful to be here. It's a dream of mine since a young child to be on this specific podcast.
Oh my God. I mean, you were very young then, of course.
Yeah, I was a bit of a luminary, you know.
You're time traveling already. We're getting into it. The X-Men of it all.
We're not supposed to talk about that.
We can talk about X-Men later.
Oh, okay, great.
I feel like that can be our nice little ending conversation.
No, I meant the time travel.
Oh,
that's a secret. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're produced by Peabody TV. Golf claps to Peabody TV. We love you. We love Randall, our producer. Give it up for Randall.
Yeah.
Wave to Randall behind us. Hello, Randall. And they're an incredible human being who makes this podcast possible. Ooh. And what's amazing about this whole experience is they are making sure that queer people have a voice and have the access to have a podcast like this.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to have a conversation with you today.
Me?
Yes, you.
Ooh.
You are an eccentric character.
What? I've never been called eccentric in my life.
No.
Never.
You.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is the Pride episode.
Oh, is it?
Yes, because this will be coming out in Pride Month.
I tried to get a little pridey.
Yeah, I tried to. I feel like my natural state is a little bit pridey.
A little bit, yeah.
Most of the time.
Okay.
But rainbows for the gay month.
Sure.
It's June is coming. She's right.
I mean, I think when they hear this, it will be well into it.
It will be well into June.
Well into
So
June.
all you queer people, I hope that you're hydrating.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that you're using makeup remover.
Am I not supposed to be using Dawn dish soap? Because
you're using Dawn dish soap?
Yes.
Like the one with the little duck?
Yeah, with the duck.
Oh my God. That's what I think about when I use Dawn dish soap. I'm always like, quack, 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 quack.
Yeah, we're ducks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's good enough for a duck, it's good enough for me.
If it can get the oil off the duck,
yes.
It can get the 6 pounds of cement off my face.
It does a great job.
It does. So this is the Pride edition,
yes.
And we're happy to have you. I feel like you have a very unique, I guess, journey with drag because you're not the typical like, I did competitions and then I won this thing and now I have this show and I do this. I feel like the sisters, a Perpetual Indulgence,
yes.
are activists at heart.
That's exactly what we are.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's so interesting. So I tried to do my little...
Oh, did you Google me?
I Googled you.
Nice.
I Googled the sisters.
I love that.
I tried to get my little queer history on.
Excellent.
It's very interesting.
It's a whole lot.
Yes. Well, that's why I'm excited to talk to you about this specifically.
Okay.
Can you talk about your role with the sisters?
Who I am with the sisters.
Who you are with the sisters specifically.
Excellent. So the sisters, right, we're an activist organization. We're a charity. Technically in Massachusetts, we're a 501c3.
Yeah.
You know?
For tax purposes.
For tax purposes. No, and so there's a lot of organization involved in that, right? And currently, I am the abbess of the Boston Sisters.
Shut up.
No, what? I won't. You brought me on a podcast.
Shut up.
And the abbess is like the president, right? But,
You said that with such pride.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yes.
But, so that's what I do. I'm the current head for our order, the Boston order.
Okay.
And we say Boston, but like there is no other sisters in all of New England, so we travel.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize so that you guys really have to span basically all of New England pretty much.
I mean, unfortunately, there's only so many resources, so I don't get to Maine often. I'm sorry, Maine, but
I would like to issue an apology to the state of Maine.
Yes. But you used to be Massachusetts, so I'm kind of there all the time.
Yeah?
Good.
So how long have you been a sister?
I have been a sister coming on 5 years now.
5 years?
Soon.
And how do you get all the way to the head bitch in charge in
my
5
gosh,
years?
There's a process. Have you ever seen The Sound of Music?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you watch The Sound of Music, right, if you pay attention, they actually talk about the process a little bit in the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
So I always think about The Sound of Music whenever I talk about this, because the sisters, we call ourselves nuns because we are nuns. And we are nuns. I don't want to hear it. Because that's the type of work we do. We're out in the community doing charitable support work.
Yeah.
And we are sort of our structure is based off of Christian nuns, especially the Catholic nuns.
Yeah.
As well as sort of like the drag imperial court system to an extent.
Yeah,
there's a lot of elements of both.
When I was reading about it, they're saying that there's a lot of Christian groups that cite the sisters as a hate group. I find that very crazy.
It's funny. It does happen at times, but we also work with a lot of Christian organizations who don't feel that way.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
We were just at Arlington Street Church this past Saturday, as of this recording, and we work with a lot of church groups, and every time I've had the chance to speak to a Catholic nun, they've been nothing but supportive of the work that we do.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you, just in the small time that I have known you, every event that I see you at, you're working your butts off, you're trying your best to outreach, and you guys always have your booth, and you're always trying to make sure that people have access to either queer health care or queer just resources, essentially.
We're always serving the community in some way.
So you, in 5 years, you started a sister.
Right.
I know.
That was the question I was answering.
But I kind of went on.
We get distracted.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so when you decide the sisters might be for you, because anybody can be a sister.
Or a brother.
Or a brother. Or a guard. There's lots of different terms. We use the sister as a catch-all.
Yep.
But we're open to people of sort of any gender identity, any sexuality, as long as you think you have that energy and mission to support people in need.
Oh, I thought you were going to be that, that little
No, you don't need that.
You need a little limp wrist.
As long as it helps. But there's a straight couple out on the West Coast that do together. They're married.
Aww.
And they're like, no, this is great. And they're both sisters.
I love that.
Yeah. So you should shoot us an email. Let us know that you might be interested in. And then there's this whole process. You start as an aspirant.
Okay.
And as an aspirant, you're sort of you're going to our events with us and you're observing with intent and trying to decide, is this what I want to do? Now that I can see a little bit about what it's really like and I'm not just watching a parade.
Yeah.
And then from there, you become a postulant, and that's where The Sound of Music comes in.
Okay.
Because in The Sound of Music, they talk about the difference between postulants and novices, and they have a mistress of postulants who's in charge of that steps, and they have a mistress of novices who's in charge of that step. Which I think is hilarious that the Catholic nuns use the term mistress because they do, and but I never knew that until The Sound of Music. I was like, did they just call that bitch mistress? And then yes, they did, and. In your postulant phase, that's when you really start doing the work, the foundational work. Is this my calling?
Yeah.
And you're doing observational work and research work and you're asking questions.
Did you have any major moments through that era of your sisterhood that
it's so different, right?
Yeah.
I kind of got what's it called? The sisters sort of reached out to me. Back in my secular life.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I was working for a local company that had money, and so they had an employee resource group for queer and trans folk in the company.
Amazing.
And they actually used it. It was a company that actually, it wasn't just a social club. They'd ask us questions. They'd be like, hey, are we doing bathrooms right? And I'd be like, no. And they'd listen. And it was wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
And when I was running that group, and we had an event where we brought the sisters in for National Coming Out Day.
Okay.
And I got the chance to work with them
on
that project. And afterwards, one of the sisters was like, you should be doing this.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm busy. Okay. And, as time went on, I left that company. Things changed, sadly. And I didn't have that outlet where I was like helping people. And the person I was with at the time was like, why haven't you called the sisters? They told you to call them 2 years ago.
Like I picture the Power Rangers. Do, 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 do.
Exactly.
Like, come on, call the sisters.
And I'm like, sure. And finally I did it. I called the sisters. And so I had to go through that process of like really figuring out if the sisters was for me.
Yep.
Because my first choice was, my goodness, what are they called? I can't think of what they're called, but there's this group that walks around with pride-colored baseball bats. They're the Degenderettes.
The Degenderettes. I thought you were going to be like, they're the Sharks or the Jets. I'm kidding.
And they're sort of like... They kind of do some of the work that the sisters do where they're trying to protect the community, but they're a little angrier.
Hey,
you know,
sometimes people need to be angry. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes, you know, we get through our childhood of the original X-Men cartoon show, and by X-Men 97 comes around, we're like, Magneto was right.
Yes, we're angry about it.
We get a little angry.
Yeah,
and I was very Magneto was right at that time. But at the time, the Boston chapter of the Degenderettes just wasn't functional.
Gotcha.
And I didn't have the energy to start it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, being in charge as someone, I'm a producer, and it's
a lot.
It can be so hard to be the person that everybody needs to send their email with and correspond with the venue with, correspond the logistics of every single event. Like it can be mind-numbing.
Yeah,
mind-numbing.
So I decided to give the bitches without baseball bats a try.
Yeah,
you know.
Yes, good.
And it worked. You know, and they really rubbed off on me. I'm calmer now, you know.
Really?
Well, like I'll still stand in front of traffic, but like I won't generally have a baseball bat in my hands.
Of course,
of
course. You're just gonna, dress it with the white makeup and the bra on your head.
It turns out you can do a lot with this.
Yes. You really can. You really can. I think the look is so fantastic. I think that's one of the most amazing parts of it is you all have like such a unique stamp in a great way. That's like this is our community. This is what we do. Like we are here, and it's so like when I see any of you guys at any event, it's almost like a nice like a reassurance, a safety net for our community.
I hear that from people. You know, people see us as a way to know that like this event's sort of been like vetted, it's safe. Yep. And that if something was to go wrong, there would be people that are going to jump on it, that are going to fight.
So towards the end, when you are now in your role, like what's the tail end of that section?
So you become a postulant, you become a novice, and then once you graduate from novice, you're a fully professed member. Okay. And you get to do like all the things. You have all the rights, and you're a member for life, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then we get to do the messy 501c3 stuff, right? That like not everybody wants to do. Yeah. But you have to have an AB as a president. You have to have a treasurer. You have to have a secretary. Mm-hmm. And like any other 501c3, we do annual elections.
Wow. So you got elected by your peers.
I got elected by my peers.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah, so I've been ABIS now since January of this year. That's my first year of ABIS.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so any highlights so far on your first year?
Oh my goodness, what have we done? Oh, can I give you a present?
A present?
Yes, here on Peabody TV.
I'm getting a surprise on my own show.
Yes, a surprise on your show.
Oh my God, sure. Give me a present.
This is a project I'm really proud of.
Oh my God.
I have it in my big bag.
What a good guess. This is the best. This is the best Pride episode.
Because what people don't realize.
What do you have right now?
What people don't realize is we're recording this episode on Mother's Day.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, mothers. And you're a mother.
Yes, I do have 2 drag children.
Yes.
3 even.
And I have a drag child as well now.
You do?
Isn't that exciting?
Aww.
Yes, novice sister Betty SM.
What a good name.
Isn't that a good name?
What a good name.
I'm so proud of you, Betty.
And my daughters, you guys are good.
You're fine.
Yeah.
But one of the projects I've recently completed is we made... I'm sorry for all the crackling. I'll say it without crackling. One of the projects we recently completed is we made these fantastic candles.
Oh my!
Call them prayer candles.
The sister candles.
Call them meditative candles.
Can I see?
Yes.
Oh,
we
wow.
reached out to the artist community in New England, and we said, hey, if you're, queer, trans, anything under the umbrella, and you live in New England, we want to pay you to make art.
Oh my God!
Yeah. And
this
we had
is
people
incredible,
apply.
guys.
and we chose an artist for every fully professed member.
Oh,
and so
really?
this is my drag mother.
Okay.
Sister Light of Christ. I brought you her. I have my own candle.
I know. I want to see yours too.
Well, I didn't bring that one.
I know. Well, Sister Lida, thank you. I love this candle.
I wanted to bring you my mother.
For Mother's Day.
For Mother's Day.
I see.
It's
I
a
see.
circle.
There was a whole plan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for the gift.
And what these candles allow us to do, not only are they fun, right? Because I think they're fun.
Yeah.
But they let us pay a bunch of artists, which was really important because the economy's been kind of shitty. I don't know if you've known this.
Do.
Yeah, we're kind of in a cost of living crisis right now.
What?
I know.
I thought everything was so affordable.
Yeah. And now that we have the art, we can make these candles.
Yep.
And we can bring them to our events where we're often raising money for other groups. And if people feel like making a significant donation, well, just like PBS, you can get a fun gift.
Yay.
Yeah. And it allows us to take this and hold on to it for a while and spread it out. So not only do we get to pay a bunch of artists, but we get to continuously use that art to pay other people doing the work in the community.
That's incredible.
Yes.
You as they say, you better work. Literally.
We work hard.
You do. No, that's so inspiring to me because, I feel like my work, I do have similar aspects of my work where I'm really advocating for queer people to have.
I know you are.
To have access, like even things like this. I feel like to give people like a slice of the pie that I'm getting.
Yes.
And because I feel like a lot of times when people are successful, they forget about like the people that have uplifted them.
Sure.
Or they just are truly just trying to do something in service of themselves.
Sure.
And I feel like drag is activism. Drag is about basically standing up to the patriarchy or standing up to these societal norms.
Yes.
So I find it incredible that like it's hard. I'm trying to basically talk about something pretty nuanced where drag in my experience of drag has always been almost like a self-serving, like I'm fierce, I'm this person, I won this, I'm friends with this person is my drag mother. Or like there is a lot of, I guess, narcissistic tendencies when it comes to being involved in drag. And I find it so impactful that you guys are using drag, like I said, such a staple. Like we know your face. We know exactly what you guys do. We know exactly what you guys are here for. And you're doing it all in the vein of charity, all in the vein of activism, which I try to bring to my drag. I don't want to be just somebody who's walking around and being like, I look so good today and give me your money. I want to be challenging people's thoughts. I want to be making queer people money at the end of the day because they get screwed over.
It's hard. Yeah.
It's hard.
But you know what drag does, even when you're not trying? Okay?
Yeah.
And I know you try, bitch.
I try.
Right?
I do try.
I follow you on Instagram. I've heard the speeches, but...
She's like, please stop
no,
saying that.
I love them. They're great. And but every person out there who's doing drag, what you're doing when you go out in the community in drag is you're moving the tent posts, okay? So the queer community is that's a big term. That's we use that to cover all sorts of ground.
Yeah, the LGBTQ, all of them.
And we're not always the most loving, welcoming community. I would love us to be, but we can, set up little gate posts here and there.
Yes, for sure.
And it can be difficult for people who have felt excluded in our community to take the risk and step out again.
Yes.
And try to find those places where they are welcome.
Yeah.
And what drag performers do, just by being out in the community, is they move the tent posts, right? Because when you and I are out at an event...
Yes.
Ain't nobody looking at the other people.
Of course not.
You know what I mean?
Of course not.
And I don't mean that as like a dig, and I don't mean that as like because I'm so fabulous. Like I look crazy right now.
No, but you do look so fabulous.
Oh, I do.
You
I look fabulous, but I also have a bra on my head, right? And so like that makes the outside of the community a lot wider.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it helps other people experiment with the way they look and still feel comfortable in the space.
Yeah.
Because they know that they're within the bounds of the space.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you see someone, and I do feel this way, I'm kind of tagging on to what you're saying here, but when you see someone who's unapologetically queer and being themselves so fully, it becomes almost like a holy shit, I didn't even know that was possible for myself. And it really moves people. So, and I think the sisters do that for a lot of people. You guys have really inspired me, like knowing you guys guys and meeting you through different events and the Dungeons and Dragons event that you guys have done.
Oh, no,
and
it's Dungeons and Dragons.
Sorry,
Yes,
I apologize.
Get it right.
That just working with Buster, and you guys have been so supportive of the local Salem community, and I appreciate all the sisters. Every single person that I've met has kind of pushed me, even like almost understanding like what we're doing here is right. And like if the sisters are here supporting us and making sure that we're being supported, like we're doing the right things in the world. We're trying to make sure that the queer people are just supported in the best way possible.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's high praise.
Of course, you guys are incredible people.
Thank you.
We've been talking already for a while. I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get through two little sections.
Yes.
So we talked about the sisters, we talked about your activism.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Great.
You're super inspirational. Follow all the sisters. What's the sisters? Do you have an Instagram account?
Yeah, we're on Instagram. I think it's Boston SPI.
Okay.
And if you go to thebostonsisters.org, like you can see the upcoming events and you can see our other social media.
Okay, across the country.
Just Boston.
Just Boston.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I don't advertise for the other houses. They got their own website. So
You're like, do not follow them.
no, we love them, but we're everywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
you're everywhere.
Like there is no one central repository of everything we're doing.
Oh my God. So I try to ask each of my guests kind of how they came to queerness and
Sure.
even through their adolescent or adult life. So
Yes.
what was your start? What was your moment you were like, I'm a little different.
Oh my
I might want to
goodness.
put a bra on my head for a living. Like,
Imagine it's just like little 5-year-old Brian. That's my secret name. Little
I
5-year-old
pull out the picture.
Brian with
It's
like
RuPaul.
boobs on my head. No, so I feel like I've had like multiple like coming out moments.
yes. Okay.
Right. So I am genderqueer.
Okay.
And I'm pansexual.
Yeah.
And I haven't always had those words.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I feel like very similar in that.
So like kids, I'm 40, okay? Now you've got like a baseline, you can like look at the decades. And when I was growing up, I was lucky. I got the internet before a lot of other people got the internet. I got the internet when I was like late elementary school.
Wow.
Yeah. And so like I wasn't like the first person in my town to get it, but like I was earlier than a lot of my friends.
Okay.
And so that allowed me to eventually, with some unsupervised internet time,
No, I had a lot of that.
do some research. Because I definitely started feeling strong urges to dress differently.
Okay.
But I didn't have a good baseline for like why and what that meant.
Yeah.
Because growing up on TV, pretty much the only masculine people who dressed in feminine ways were doing it as jokes.
Yeah.
Right? It was always for comedy.
Of course, or it's like very under the gaze of like rock and roll star where it's like sexualized.
I didn't even see that.
Like I'm thinking like Prince or David Bowie
I
or
know.
those kinds of people. But
I just wasn't exposed to them at that age.
Okay,
yet.
okay.
Yeah. Like I wish.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like by the time I got to high school, I started seeing that. But like I started like thinking about this stuff in elementary school.
I'm sure. Yeah. I was in like drag in my third grade musical.
Yeah. And so like, but I did learn about transgender people.
Okay.
Pretty early because of the internet. But at the time, it was really only being framed as binary transition.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I was a woman trapped in a man's body, which is what a lot of the language was framed around at the time.
Of course. It still is kind of in the mainstream, unfortunately.
It depends where you're looking, right?
Of course.
We're getting better all the time.
I think the queer community has obviously grown far away from that, but I feel like America as a whole,
what the average
what
media literacy is?
Yes,
Yeah.
I feel like that's still where we're at.
It can be, right? So for the longest time, I thought I was a straight cross-dresser.
Yeah.
That's how I identified for the longest time, because I did find the term genderqueer at one point early. I remember finding it, but it was strongly linked to the kink community.
Huh.
And I said, well,
I wonder.
It's sexy, but it's not just that.
Yeah, well, I would say I'm also genderqueer, but I don't identify it in like a sexual way at all. It's very more just about my personal gender and how I feel that day.
So I rejected that term, and I
Sure.
rejected the term transgender, and I kind of had to hide my cross-dressing for a long time because I had access to the internet, and I knew from having access to the internet that people who were religious often rejected people who cross-dressed and had transgender tendencies.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a church that is an amazing church. All right, shout out to St. Stephen's and Lynn. Y'all do the work. They really do the work.
Yeah.
Like I could go on for 20 minutes about like how much work they do.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, we absolutely talked about accepting gay and lesbian people into the community.
That's great.
And that they had, like, they were valid and they were important.
That's wonderful. A lot of religious people don't get that.
Right.
A lot of religious people don't get that.
We just didn't talk about transgender people.
Yeah.
It didn't come up. So, like, I was scared. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't come out to my parents till college.
Really?
Yeah. And even then, and it was only then that I had, like, the non-binary language.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people in the last like 5 or 6 years have really identified with non-binary as something, because it's true. I mean, we're talking about the very, very generic man trapped in a woman's body or vice versa, or just gender in a very binary way, versus being able to like accept yourself radically for whatever you might possibly be on different scales of things.
Yeah.
And I think that it's almost like a lesson in self-love when you find the term non-binary, because you can accept that, yes, I want to cross-dress and wear things that are typically made for a different gender, but you're also accepting those other parts of you that might be more masculine, or might be rougher and tougher, or parts that you still love about yourself that are still true to yourself.
Right.
And I feel like it can be so freeing when you find the language that you identify with.
Right, because there is a cross-dressing community, right?
Of course,
there are people who like they feel like that cross-dressing is important to them, and it like means very specific things.
Yeah.
And often once you like, and everyone's different, but often once you find that identity of non-binary, it doesn't feel like cross-dressing anymore.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
No, you're not
like
performing.
Apart from that community.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not. These are my clothes.
Yes.
I'm not wearing the clothes that belong to another gender.
Yes.
I'm wearing the clothes that speak to me and my gender.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's lovely.
It's a beautiful thing.
And then I still kind of thought I was straight-ish for a long time.
Interesting.
Like, it's hard to be straight and non-binary because what's the opposite sex, right? But like, I was very much still attracted to high femme people for a very long time. And eventually, though, I started finding examples of people that I was like, no, that works for me.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah.
But like it's for a while, it just took me a minute to get there. And I think honestly it was because I was so like wrapped up in the headspace of figuring out my gender that I just didn't think hard about the other stuff for a while.
Yeah.
You know?
I think a lot of people go through that. A lot of people, because I feel like I went through a phase where I thought I could have wanted to transition at some point. And then I kind of had more time away from that and started to feel more comfortable with all the parts of me that I wanted to see.
Sure.
And I think also we typically, I feel like we always, with queer events, are centered, unfortunately, around like cis gay men, a lot of them.
Well, yeah.
Unfortunately. So pansexuality isn't something that a lot of people talk about. Yep. And I don't think that, it wasn't until being introduced to, I guess, more kink community events or more sapphic events where those sorts of terms started to come up. And I was like, maybe I identify with that because it doesn't matter someone's gender. Like, I can be attracted to literally, honestly, anybody who I could be attracted to. So why do I have to be attracted to one thing or put a label on that thing? Same thing with my gender as well.
Yeah.
I think I feel like non-binary and pansexuality kind of go hand in hand in many ways. They're a similar thing, but different things entirely as well.
I mean, there are layers of privilege, right?
Yes.
And unfortunately, they're real. And they have effects. So even when we are missing some privileges that make some things harder, that doesn't take away the privileges that we still have, right?
Yes.
So oftentimes, as far as like events and entertainment are concerned, it can feel like, and I think it feels like it because it is, the crowd that is predominant are the white, male gay crowd.
I call them the white tank top gays.
The white tank top gays, right?
They look in a mirror. They're like, wow, that guy's hot.
Or depending on how late at night it is, it's the harness gays.
The harness gay, harness jockstrap gays.
Sure.
With some questionable things in their system.
And it's like because it has been easier for them. I'm not saying it's been easy.
Yeah.
But it's been easier for them.
There are privileges
to
there.
establish like public community.
Yep.
And sometimes they just have more money.
Not true.
For socioeconomic factors.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
You need money to do events.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, and I think about the growth of certain events in Boston and how it's taken a long time for other communities like Blood and other communities.
Love Blood. Shout out to Blood.
Yeah, shout out to Blood and other communities that I'm seeing really on the rise right now, and finally having the access to be able to have safe community events for these smaller, or not even smaller, just like another factor of our queer community.
Yes.
It's a shame. Even, we can go back to, I talk about this with Buster all the time, but misogyny within the drag community and things like that. It stems to the kink community, to the queer community. Like, there's just so many...
biases of society continue in other aspects.
Yes, for sure, sure. Thank you for sharing a little bit about that. And you have been so incredible to talk to, and I'm going to have you back. We're going to have a part 2.
Let's do it again.
We have to do this again.
There's so much we could talk about.
So I want to talk to you about X-Men really quick.
Oh, we're going to talk about X-Men?
We can talk about X-Men.
Yay!
We got to. So this week, as we're filming this, the finale is about to come out.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. We are big X-Men people, as you can tell.
Yes.
Tell me, for the people, and this will be spoilers. So if you haven't listened to it, watch the goddamn show. I don't want to hear it.
You've had weeks now.
You had weeks. Tell me, what's your favorite episode so far out of this season?
My gosh.
If you could, even one or two.
I don't know. So I feel like they've done a great job doing episodic storytelling, right?
Yes.
So there's always the big debate, like, should it be released all at once or should it be released, like, once a week?
Yeah.
I think they've milked this once a week format.
Oh, for sure.
Because there have been some, like, really good, like, woven stories between the episodes. And they've also used that weekly break really well to cut time sometimes, right?
Yes.
So I honestly think one of my favorite episodes is probably going to be a little underrated, but it's the episode where Jubilee and Sunspot went to Mojo World.
Yeah, love that.
But they also started telling Storm's recovery story with Forge.
Of course, like the 15 minute moment.
Yeah.
I
And there
agree.
was really good overlap.
Yes.
there. But it was such a good example of like the side storytelling that matters.
Yes,
right?
of course.
Like so much of the team was missing for most of that.
Yes.
Besides like Magneto being like an elder bitch at the breakfast table, and I think I'm gonna go back and rewatch that episode. I know, and even though we're gonna be talking more and more about those episodes that hit hard, the episodes with deaths, the episodes with betrayals,
yes, the twists, the turns,
but like the episodes that led up to that it's such a masterclass in storytelling.
It is. I was going to say that episode in particular, I love it because they give you this last kind of final moment to milk that nostalgia and milk that, the X-Men from the 90s. And that's the whole point of Jubilee's journey, and that is to kind of relive that, know that the past is the past. And then obviously, I think the next episode is when Genosha happens, and it's like...
It's very soon, if not the next episode. Yeah.
I would say that obviously the Genosha episode is incredible, probably one of the best animated...
Devastating.
It's probably one of the best animated episodes of television of all time.
It's so good.
But my favorite episode is definitely the episode where Rogue goes kind of crazy and goes...
Oh my goodness!
From place to place to place to place to place. I fucking love it.
Rogue looks at you and it's just like, oh, you killed all the good mutants, you know?
When Captain America's like, I don't know if we have to do this the right way. She's like, well, since you're busy, you won't be needing this.
So petty.
Yes, petty.
Love it. Petty and angry.
Yes.
Like, go find it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
They're like, I thought you were supposed to be all good. She's like, you killed those ones, sugar.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm living for Rogue. We love Rogue.
I'm living for all of it.
Yes, I'm living for all of it too. Do you have a favorite character if you could pick one? If you
in
could
the
pick
cartoon.
In the 97 in the 97 right now.
Honestly, it's probably Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto's killing it.
Magneto is on a journey, you know?
I love it.
And like he's not forgetting about his journey in the earlier seasons, you know, in the earlier show, but like he is telling some Shakespeare level shit right
I agree.
now.
I mean, I think it's giving I think it's a beautiful analysis of what minorities have to face constantly, and the anger, the baseball bats, and wanting to get out the fucking baseball bats.
Really trying.
Really trying. Yeah.
To like not be like who he like turned himself into.
Yes.
And it failing.
Yeah. Well, I just think clearly if you watch it, Genosha is good enough reason for anyone to be angry. So you know what I mean? Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I think the journeys are amazing. If you don't know, just quick history about the X-Men, when they originally wrote it, they had Magneto as a more like Malcolm X type of character based off of in history, and then the what do you know, is this not true? And then the MLK
so it's hard,
analogies.
Right? It's hard because if you look at like what is it like the first 16 issues of the X-Men where Stan Lee was writing, the analogies were almost non-existent. Like Stan Lee has gone back and said like, oh yeah, no, I was planning it the whole time. I'm Stan Lee.
No, he just
other writers really took hold of it after Stan Lee left.
For sure.
Then they really, I feel like, started telling those stories.
I think once they kind of went into the Nazi origin of Magneto and things like
retcon,
that. Yeah.
You know? But like it really made the character fleshed out. He was such a generic like terrorist villain when they first wrote him.
Yeah, well he's just like, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, I have missiles now.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for being a guest on my podcast. Yes. I need to do the whole thing. Sister, brother, Freddie, and Willing. Thank you. Thank you. Abyss. Head bitch in charge. Head bitch in charge.
Until they vote me out again.
Until next year's election.
Yeah.
The last question I will ask this to every guest. Ooh. What is the thing that makes you feel like the most like yes. Like what is the gayest thing about you? What is the thing?
The gayest
yeah, like
thing
what is the queerest fucking thing about you? What makes you feel your oats, honey? What is it?
Listen. My closet isn't as big as I would like it to be.
Okay.
It does have 4 petticoats in it right now.
Yes.
I don't know that most people need 4 petticoats, but I feel like I could use more. You know what I mean? I just need more closet.
I think that if you are out there and you have a petticoat connect, please send them to Sister, Brother, Freddie, and Willie.
If you need someone to model your petticoats on Instagram, you know, for petticoats, I'll get paid in petticoats, you know. But like sometimes going to your closet and just like looking at like your options, which are all kind of a little, you know, they're all like that. And being like, no, I need to pick which one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are my moments where I'm just like, which one? And like knowing that they're different to you.
Yeah.
Even though like this is something that most people won't even
notice. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that. Those are my moments. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Besides the sex.
Well, thank you so much for being our third guest here.
Oh, only third?
Only third.
Wow.
Only third. Yes. On Yes Talk, it is our queer little TED Talk, and we are here at Peabody TV. Give it up for Peabody TV for hosting us. We love you. Give it a shout out to Randall. We love you, Randall. My name is Ms. Diamond Wigfall. Follow me at Ms. Diamond Wigfall on Instagram. Make sure to subscribe, like the channel on Spotify and on YouTube, because don't we look great?
We look great.
We look so good.
Yeah.
So why would you just want to listen? Don't you want to watch too, honey?
Do both.
Yes, do both. Do it all at the same time. Press play in different rooms at the same time.
That sounds rough. I don't know.
Just a little delay.
A little delay? Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on episode 3 of Yes Talk. Peace, love, and world peace.
And yes.